Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. Flash flooding hit the village of Marwayne hard this past summer, but now residents can breathe a sigh of relief. The provincial government is stepping up to the plate, offering relief funding for those hardest hit. This is what the streets of Marwayne looked like back in July.
Couldn't handle the storm occurrence itself. Our storm sewers couldn't take the water away, and we saw a lot of damage in our small businesses and our residents as well. Now that we have the money available, we're encouraging all of our business owners and residents to come forward and obtain a letter outlining what their uninsurable damage and take photographs of the damage that they had and provide us with any bills, and then that way we can apply those costs that they did occur towards this program and refund some of the money to them.
The Alberta government is shelling out just over $100,000 for relief efforts. Now, Mayor Saskew says severe storming is now a more common occurrence in Marwayne. The village is now working to fix its drainage issues so this doesn't happen again. New water and sewer lines are now finished and a new storm sewer is under construction. It should be complete by the end of next year. 5 men are facing over 30 charges after an extensive bust by Bonnyville police. RCMP received a complaint of a vehicle driving erratically on Highway 28, and after pulling that vehicle over, discovered the driver was a wanted suspect. That led police to execute multiple search warrants, seizing drugs, cash, and other stolen items. The men are facing numerous drug and weapon charges. Police aren't releasing any names at this time. Well, diabetes is often the product of a poor diet for millions of Canadians. Now, more and more research is linking Alzheimer's disease to type 2 diabetes. Some saying Alzheimer's may even be a form of diabetes. As Kelsey Bloxham reports, earlier today, a master's student at the University of Alberta spoke about the link.
Bonnie Whitehead first started studying diabetes as an undergraduate, really diving in after realizing that although the mechanisms for type 2 diabetes are considered to be well defined, there's still trouble in controlling it and the disease population.
And if we look at it on a cognitive level, even though people present similarly with troubles in glucose regulation and insulin regulation, they don't always present with the same cognitive deficits. So that kind of initial finding led us to think that there's probably other factors involved.
Her research led her to examine the link between type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. But while the link is there, the research does not mean that those with type 2 will necessarily develop Alzheimer's.
Something that we're seeing here is that controlling your type 2 diabetes is hugely important, and it could pay off in later vitality in life, in cognitive vitality in later life. So kind of mitigating the risk of Alzheimer's disease for sure.
Whitehead shared her research with students, educators, and those connected to the health industry, like Linda Graham, who's worked in long-term care, seeing firsthand the impact Alzheimer's has.
Bonnie demonstrated quite clearly that if we can intervene sooner, which is what we should be doing, then we can decrease the incidence of Alzheimer's.
From here, Whitehead says more work needs to go into early indicators and distinguishing between type 2 patients and those who will develop Alzheimer's and those who will not.
If we can identify somehow individuals that will transition, that would enable that kind of early intervention that's so important.
Kelsey Bloxham, Newcap News.
Well, the border city is filled with talented up-and-comers, and Brandy Hofer is no exception. Born in Lloydminster, the young artist has been showcased across Canada and has appeared in many local publications. Stefan Kachmar has more on this week's Arts and Entertainment feature.
Not so realistic, but portrait of her, which I hadn't done before.
The much-traveled artist has studied on both sides of Canada, including stops at Red Deer College and Nova Scotia's College of Art and Design. She focuses on female portraits and has explored a variety of themes, and as Brandy puts it, she's always looking for a new challenge.
I am very experimental as an artist, so I have worked in pretty much everything. I have my favorites. Break that long block.
Acrylics, oils, encaustic wax, and printmaking are just some of the art methods Brandy enjoys using. Some of her fondest memories as an artist came when she was part of the Robin Lambert project while residing in Paris, France. She had the opportunity to interview struggling women and tell their stories through visual expression.
There were women from Abu Dhabi or Colombia, and they each had a really unique story. So I based each portrait off of their stories. So I just think there was a lot more meaning in each drawing or painting.
Brandy still lives and calls Lloydminster home, although she does have a few residency ideas in mind, which she'll begin in the new year. Stephen Kachmar, Newcap News.